What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link also in the description box. They asked me to put it up. I put it up. This video is entitled The Beta Player. Oh, 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 oh. Okay. What winds up happening is people use this, the alpha beta thing, right? So there's a point where the guys who were considered beta become players because, the game has karma. You know what I'm saying? So when a lot of people are playing the game, alphas fall off at certain points and betas rise at certain points. So an alpha could be looked at as an alpha even though he's fell off, and a beta could be in an alpha position and become an alpha, but they're going to always be looked at as a beta. So, but ironically, because of this dynamic, they become a player in the game. And what do I mean by that? Because I'm using this as a proxy. There are guys who were people's second, third, fourth, fifth option. And the very things that made them beta, that he's too nice, he's a friend. Like my little niece said, I look at him as a brother friend. He's a brother friend, he's kind of marriage material, but he's not, he's not fun. He's boring, this, that, and the third, you gave those guys time, if they did it right, to focus on their own self-development and their growth, and to basically work themselves into a confident space, whether that's with life accomplishments or self-improvement, which, in a sense are hand in hand. So what winds up happening is, this is to a degree why you see, older men with younger women, because you look at those older men as alphas now, but probably in their generation, they were probably betas, right? So now they're beta players. You don't see that if you're a younger woman, because you see a sexy grown man, right? Like, ooh, he could get it. But you don't see the women, if he's in his 30s and his age group was like, well, he was a beta, when he was in his 20s. Or if he's in his 40s, oh, I thought he was a beta in his 20s and 30s. And, now she can't get with him, but she wants him. And now she can't keep that man. You know what I'm saying? Because now he's a beta player, because in her mind, he's still beta. And if you're a younger woman, he's alpha to you. But in her, and if she's an older woman, she knows the guy or knows that type of guy, she can't flip the switch to say he's really an alpha now. But what winds up happening is the guys that were alphas fell off. See, all the stuff that made them alpha and sexy and the sexual market place value #1 pick, they got comfortable, they got soft. So either their looks faded, their swagger got outdated, their confidence doesn't match their production, so they start to look, they're living on their past successes, and women are, and they're good talkers to the point where they're still talking women out of their panties, and women are disgusted because, he's an alpha in getting women in bed, but he's a beta in life. So now the guy that was a beta in getting women in bed is an alpha in life, and it creates this dynamic. So I'm hoping you're sticking with me and you understand where I've been and where I'm going with this. I'm hoping not to confuse you. That's what I'm saying. So what winds up happening is now these betas become players because now they have younger women who look at them as alpha because their life is on alpha, right? So now they're the sexy old man, like I was talking about earlier. Then you have women in their age group who look at their lifestyle as alpha, but they still can't, damn, that but in my mind, he's still a beta from 10, 12, 15, 20 years ago. I just can't, I'll never respect him as an alpha. Okay. And then you got the women who may be a little older who like, yeah, he an alpha, but he really not gonna commit to me, but I can be a side chick and he can, because I don't have a man. So I can be the older woman that comes through and still get sex on a regular basis, thus creating a beta player ecosystem. Because the older women realize from their like the older women who are older than that particular guy. So say say that guy's in his 30s, the young women who see him as alpha are in their 20s, the women who still see his life as alpha but him and his betas are in the 30s group, and the women who are willing to kind of be side chicks are single older women in their 40s. Okay, so and these can be multiple women in each group. So what winds up happening is the older women are looking at him like, well, he's young enough to actually still sexually satisfy me because he's young enough to he's young enough to physically give me what I need sexually, and he's virile enough and he's experienced enough to know what to do to satisfy me. But I'm too old to either marry or have kids with. But at the same time, we're able to communicate because now we might be in the same space mentally as far as maturity. And this is part of the reason why you see a lot of older women in the gyms trying to get their body right and get younger, because their beauty is starting to betray them. And now that they've learned how to keep a man, beauty wise, they're falling off. So they got to compete with women 10 and 20 years younger than them's beauty. So they know that's an obstacle. So the beta player also knows this. So it's fair exchange. So then you have the women in his age group, in his age bracket, who still see him as a beta. But all the alphas that they've chose, or the majority of the alphas that they chose, they've grown disgusted with, because the way that they've become alphas, it didn't grow into being a grown man. They may have been sexual alphas or dating place alphas, but as far as being a grown man, they're beta grown men. So that quote unquote beta player is dealing with a dichotomy that the women in his age group, they still want to disrespect him like he's a beta, but they want to be in love with his alpha lifestyle, and they have their own little battle. And the guy has accomplished enough that he ain't putting up with the shenanigans. So now you have these women fighting themselves while they're trying to quote unquote woo you, while saying that simultaneously trying to say, I'm the prize, as I am, as in she feels like she's the prize because he's a beta, but he's got all the cards in his deck and he knows he's the prize. So it's like a culture shock and an ego shock, because that beta player can you can go back to all them alpha guys you was messing with. I got older women who checking for me. I got women like you who are on the fence, still checking for me, but you still playing games. So I can get rid of you. And the reason I can get rid of you, and I can get rid of you, and you're mad because now you have to compete, is I can get women who are younger than you, who look at me as an alpha. And this is why there's this competitiveness between age groups of women, because the older women peep the game. The women in the middle are panicking and scrambling because the game ain't working for them and they're hitting the wall. And the younger women are can sexually take their man. And so he becomes a beta player. And so going to the younger women, these younger women see him as alpha, but the problem is a lot of younger women aren't mentally sharp. So their beauty is great, but their mind is so childish. A beta player doesn't necessarily want to, raise them to be a woman because the immaturity is just too high. See, normally older men would date younger women, but the thing about them dating those younger women was those women had a sense of wisdom to them. So it was a good match, but you're lacking. The youth are lacking wisdom in this particular time. So and a lot of times, these younger women don't want relationships anyways. They want to be young and free and have fun and have sex. So truth be told, they like being sex toys. So locking them down is not a good thing because at the same time, you're not old enough to be a sugar daddy, but they still kind of want their age group, but they kind of playing games with their age group, and you're not playing games with them because they're realizing they're competing just on the surface with older women, with women a little bit older than them, and women who will be their mom's age for the same type of men. And generally speaking, the only woman who knows how to keep them in is the older women, the oldest of the bunch. So the young girls and the girl and the woman, the young woman and the woman in their age group still don't know how to keep a man. They still think that the man has to do everything to keep them and they have to do nothing to keep the man. So when this beta player puts on the table, you're not doing anything to keep me here, it adds to the number of women because a lot the women that are younger and the women in his age group are still so selfish that doing things to keep a man is looked at as offensive and dysfunctional, and you're going against the sisterhood. So it gives them prime reason to not commit. And now the alphas that you want, you realize they ain't grown men, and the betas that you don't necessarily respect, you realize you ain't woman enough to handle them, so you can't talk to them about having women on rotation because you can't be a woman that can keep them. So, like I said, this is how it works. This is how it winds up working when it comes to this type of topic. So, I'm done. Y'all have a good day. Peace.